Let's get started. So we're going to be on our backs. So we're going to lie down on our back. And we're going to bend the knees, have the soles of the feet on the mat. And then we're going to walk the feet out about hips width apart, and then let the knees rest gently in towards each other. So the knees are holding each other up. Okay, so take your time to get in that shape. And arms can rest gently down by your sides. They could be somewhere on the body, maybe one hand on the belly, one hand on the heart, just really whatever's comfortable. And we're just going to take a few breaths here to really bring ourselves into this space. So whatever happened before this practice, just let that go and really try to settle into this space. So just feeling the parts of your body that are making contact with the mat, the back of your head, your shoulders, your upper back, your lower back, your hips, your buttocks, and then the soles of the feet. And just noticing what it feels like to be on the ground. Notice what it feels like to be held. And then start to connect with your breath a little more. On the inhale, notice how the body rises, filling with the breath. And on your exhale, just notice how that breath leaves the body. Inhale, filling up. And exhale, letting go. Notice if you could soften anywhere in the face or the jaw, maybe the neck or the shoulders. Just really let the knees rest in towards each other. With each exhale, relaxing a bit more. If you'd like to set an intention for this afternoon's practice, go ahead and do that now. So whatever would feel right, whatever would guide you, take the next few breaths, please, to create your intention. Next inhale, filling your entire body with your breath, with your intention. Big breath in through the nose. And then exhale out through the mouth. 2 more breaths just like that. Last one, biggest breath you've taken in all day. And then biggest breath out. I'm going to share a quick reading from a book called Deep Listening by Jillian Pransky. And then after I'm done with the reading, we'll stay in this pose just a bit longer in stillness and quiet. Let your feet land heavily on the ground. Feel your footprints dropping deeper and deeper into the earth. Effortless legs. Your pelvis cradled by the earth. Your back melts into the ground. Feel the ground welcoming your shoulders and upper back. Allow the earth to receive your head completely. Welcome your breath into your body. Welcome your breath with a softening belly. Your breath caring for you as it flows in and out on its own. Let your belly soften more and drain down into your back. Let your body rest on the ground. The earth will hold you. Let your breath into your body. The ground longs to carry you, so your breath can fill you. Take about 3 more slow, deep breaths here. Before we bring any movement back to the body, let's just notice what it feels like to be in this pose. Maybe you feel heavy, relaxed. And then let's just gently start to rock the head from side to side, releasing any tension, any tightness in the neck. Each breath might move the head back and forth, or you might stay on one side for a few breaths. So as always, just see what your body needs. And we'll bring the head back to center. We'll bring the arms down by our sides if they're not already there, and then just start to windshield wipe the knees back and forth. So again, this movement could be each breath moves the knees back and forth, or you could stay on one side for a few breaths. Just checking in, seeing what your body needs today in this moment. Go ahead and even that movement out. And then after the knees come back up to center again, let's straighten each leg and then extend the arms overhead. Get a nice full body stretch here. And if you'd like, you can bring some movement. You can exhale, bring the arms down by your sides, soften through the feet. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead, point through the toes. And exhale, arms come back, or you can just stay with the arms overhead. Let's see what feels good. Make sure you're breathing. And then we'll bring the arms down by the sides. We'll bend the knees again. We'll just roll on to one side of your body, coming into the fetal position. Taking a few breaths here. And then we'll slowly use that top hand and that bottom elbow to walk ourselves up towards the hip that we're sitting on. And then we're going to come into our supported twist. So we're going to take either our bolster, if we have one, or our 2 bed pillows and bring them up to the top of the mat. We're going to start on the right hip. So we're going to bring that right hip up to the bottom edge of our prop. And you might use one of the throw pillows between the knees for a cushion. You might bring one kind of behind those bed pillows to lift up. So see what would feel good for you. And then we're going to bring one hand on either side of the pillows. Inhale to lift and lengthen. And then exhale, slowly come down onto your prop. So as always in restorative yoga, take your time to get yourself comfortable. Again, you might place the pillow in between the knees and see how it feels with the right ear and the right cheek on the mat. If you want a deeper twist, you'll just gently lift your head and then turn your head to the opposite direction of the knees. And you'll know right away if that's not going to be comfortable. And then we're going to settle in here for a bit. So arms can stay cactused, or lately I've been practicing where I bring that arm that's behind me, so this will be the right arm, and let it rest down the side. So the palm of the hand is kind of more towards the bottom, but you'll know right away what feels most comfortable and restorative for you. And then relax to the face and the jaw. Relax the shoulders into the pillows. Let your right hip soften into the mat. And slow, steady breaths here. Following the rise and fall of your breath. Following the rise and fall of your breath against your breaths. Try to let go a little more. 3 more slow, deep breaths here. If your right arm is not cactus, go ahead and bring that back. Right hand underneath the shoulder. And then lift the body up very slowly, no hurry. Walking the hands towards the right hip. If you're using a pillow in between the knees, you can move that. And just take a few breaths here once you come up. You might circle the neck a few times in both directions. And then we'll do a quick transition to hands and knees so we can do some cat-cows. So take your time. Just spreading your fingers wide. You're ready. Inhaling, lifting up through the heart, the tailbone. And then exhale, rounding through the spine, chin in towards the chest. And then just go at your own pace. Let's do 2 more. Eyes can be open or closed. Just make sure you're staying in the moment with your breath. Letting it guide you in and out. After that last exhale, in cat, we'll come back to a neutral spine, gaze down between the hands, and then we'll sit back just momentarily on the heels, and we'll set up for our twist on the second side. So bring your pillows down towards that left hip. So you may or may not prop up the pillows with the throw pillow. You might place one between the knees. And then we'll bring both hands on either side of the pillow. Inhale to lift up. And then exhale, slowly come down onto the left ear and the left cheek. You're welcome to cover up with the blanket if you'd like. The body temperature tends to drop in restorative yoga, so make sure again that you're as comfortable as you can be. So this might feel just right with the left ear and the left cheek on the pillow. If you'd like to deepen the stretch, you'll just gently lift your head up and then exhale. Let your head rest in the opposite direction. So you might keep both arms cactus, or you might bring that left arm down alongside the left side body with the palm face up. See what feels better for you. And then settle in here. Soften the face and the jaw. Soften the shoulders. Letting the left hip soften into the mat. Let your body be held. Nothing to do. Nothing to produce. Just be with your body, with your breath. Slow, steady breaths. Staying present, relaxing, letting go even more. Let's take 3 more slow, deep breaths here. Your left arm is extended alongside your left side body. Go ahead and slowly bring that left hand back underneath the left shoulder. Lift up. So again, no hurry in restorative yoga. Just walking the body back towards that left hip. Removing any props that you might have between the knees and take a few breaths here. Again, you might circle through the neck if you need that movement, going around in both directions. If you just move the head side to side, just check in, see what you need. Eyes might be open, they might be closed. And then when you're ready, you can join me back on 2 hands and knees. You can come back into those cat-cows that we were doing. Or I really like to stretch out through the backs of my legs after that pose. So just keeping my right toes on the mat, pressing back through my right heel, and then pressing the mat away with my hands. Just getting a nice stretch in the back of that right leg. You can stay still, or you can just kind of rock the leg back and forth. Make sure you're breathing. And if you're doing the leg extension, go ahead and rebend the right knee, and then exhale, come to that left side, pressing back through the left heel. Again, pressing the mat away with the hands. And then breathing into the back of that left leg. And then rebending that left knee if you were doing the leg stretch, and if you're doing cat-cows, come meet us in a neutral spine. And then we'll sit back on the heels. We'll set up for our next pose. We're going to do heart bed pose, which is just a heart opening pose. We're going to keep the pillows at the top of the mat, the 2 bed pillows or the bolster. So if you'd like, you can use 1 or 2 of the bed pillows to prop up your pillows. And then if you're only using 1, you might choose to use another one underneath the knees. Maybe you cover up with a blanket. Maybe you're finding that you're cold. So again, take your time. Make sure that there's no space between the low back and those pillows. And then lay yourself back. So you have the option, if you'd like, you can keep your legs straight if that would feel better for you. Or maybe you'd like to come into a reclined butterfly. So bringing the soles of the feet together and letting the knees spread out wide. So see what would feel best for you. Again, make sure you're completely supported by your props. We're going to take a few breaths here. So breathing into the heart space. So arms might be down by your sides. Maybe you cactus the arms. Maybe they rest somewhere on the body, but really just making sure that they're comfortable, that they have to use little to no effort. And then next inhale, breathing into the heart space, into the chest, letting it rise, filling with breath. And exhale, softening. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, big breath in through the chest, the heart. Exhale, soften. 1 more. So we'll be in this pose for a bit. We're letting the front of our body open. A lot of us spend a lot of time hunched over computers, sitting. So let's open the front side of the body here. Relax into this pose. Remember, nowhere to go, nothing to do. Relaxing anywhere that still needs to soften or to let go. Again, following the rise and fall of your breath. Staying present. Letting go. Relaxing. about 3 more slow, deep breaths here. And the time to notice what it feels like for your body to be in this pose. And then you might start to wiggle fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. Might feel nice to stretch the arms overhead. If your knees were out, just gently straighten the legs. Get a nice stretch. And then we'll slowly bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet on the mat, turn to one side, coming back into embryo pose. You might stay on the pillows, you might come off the props, your choice. Just take a few breaths here. And then slowly come back up. So we're going to do one more pose before Shavasana. So you can do legs up the wall if you'd like, or I'm just going to turn my body around and then use those pillows that I had my back on, and then let that be legs up the pillow. So that's the choice I'm going to make. If you prefer to do legs up the wall, go ahead and find yourself. And you might use that second throw pillow to cushion the head. Maybe you prefer to have the head laying flat. You might keep the blanket on or add the blanket if you don't have it. If you have an eye pillow, you might place that on your eyes. And we'll start to settle in here. So we just let this pose do the work for us. We're giving our legs and feet a break, giving our heart and our lungs a break, letting the blood flow in the opposite direction. So many options for the hands and the arms. They can be down by your sides. They might rest on the body. Maybe you cactus the arms. Maybe you extend the arms overhead. But as usual, I just ask that you make the choice that's most comfortable with no effort. And just returning to your breath, that slow meditative breath. Reminding our body to stay in that rest and digest mode of being, receiving. to stay in this pose for Shavasana, you can. If you'd like to come into a different pose for Shavasana, go ahead and either hug the knees into your chest, or if the legs are up the wall, slowly bring them back down into the chest, letting the blood flow back into the legs and the feet. You might rock from side to side if you're planning on coming to a different position for Shavasana. And then get comfortable. I'm going to place my pillow underneath my knees. I'm going to place a pillow underneath my head. So again, taking time to get comfortable. So this is the time in the practice that we let all that goodness soak in at a deep cellular level into the body, into the mind. We'll do a little guided relaxation and just end our practice in quiet Shavasana. So again, getting comfortable, settling in. We'll start by softening the crown of the head, the forehead, your temples, eyes, space between the eyebrows, cheekbones, relaxing down the jawline into the teeth, relaxing your neck, the front, the sides, the back of your neck. Relaxing your shoulders, your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, the backs of your hands, the palms of your hands, and then all your fingers. Relaxing through the chest and the upper back, your torso and your middle back, your belly and your low back. And softening your hips and your pelvis, your tailbone and your buttocks. Releasing your thighs and your hamstrings, your knees, your shins and your calves. And softening your ankles, your heels, tops of your feet, soles of your feet, and then all your toes. Just letting your entire body relax, be held, and let your mind follow. slowly start to deepen your breath. Feel your body against your props and your mat. Notice if you feel any differently than before you started your practice. And invite some gentle, organic movement back to your body, whatever you need. You might stretch, you might rock the head from side to side. You might hug the knees in. Staying present with your breath. And then eventually you'll roll to one side, coming back into the fetal position. Just enjoying these last few moments of stillness before you return to the rest of your day. If you set an intention, perhaps you come back to that intention, letting it guide you the rest of your day, breathing it in. When you're ready, use that top hand and that bottom elbow to slowly bring yourself up to a seated position of your choice. Taking your time. Let's take one final breath together. So bring the hands down by the hips. We'll inhale, reach those arms up, gathering that energy into the palms. And then exhale, bringing your palms and your energy back to your heart space. So thank you all for taking your time to practice together today. Thank you for allowing me to be your guide, and thanking yourself for taking this time to slow down, to be with your body, with your breath. From my heart to yours, namaste. So thank you again. If you'd like, you can come back next week for another class.